Yes, it's very sexy.
104th Scouting Regiment.
Oh my God.
Training.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cadet Corps. That's it.
Scouting Regiment, Scouting Corps, Survey Card Regiment, whatever.
Yeah. I know Attack on Titan.
Welcome everybody.
Welcome indeed.
Podcaster number 4.
104. 104.
Mhm.
That is an even 2 years plus the special 16.5 podcast
Right.
I did for the appearance movie while Caleb was out of the country.
It is,
Yeah.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Ah,
Hey, Salo Ghost, welcome. Doom, Carl Golf, Cycronia, Jad the Mad.
the danger zone.
Don't worry. We're not looking up anything for, all that stuff. We have lovely people that bring all that stuff curated to us.
Vet the entire info process and whatnot for what to know and what not to know. And
So we're Gucci. We are Gucci.
MHA 11 days remaining. Wait till. Whoa.
Yes. Mesker, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. 12 months. Which,
Wow.
by the way, y'all, the artists that I'm working with for the new sub badges and all that, and potentially new emotes, she's 6, so that's why I haven't gotten those. Worked out there. So that's why I don't have those all good to go yet.
Just found out that Fate is based on an eroge, so I'm rethinking my life choices at the moment. Indeed, the more you know. It's
the more you know to Danger
Yeah.
Zone, exactly. And we got some new follows here. We've got Vincio Dragon, Mac Attack G, J Core 87, Mari Chat, Bill's Boy. Thank you so much for the follows, everyone. Glad to
Yes.
have you here. You heard she's 6? No, she's sick. She's unable to move her hands without jitters. So
no.
it's tricky to do art at this point.
Yeah, no, she's 6.
So wish
It's
her a good
it's one of our cousins,
Yeah, she's a genius. She's
Yeah.
like Mozart, but
Yeah.
with an iPad. So she's just like people are like watching her like scribble, and they're like, she's speaking the language of the gods,
Do those life choices involve looking in other eroge for surprisingly good stories?
Wow, we're starting off this podcast supremely cultured. But
No, not the shirt.
before we get too cultured, we got to give a
yes.
shout out to one of our new VIP patrons, Cowboy on the Discord. Welcome, and thank you so much for your support, Cowboy.
Mhm.
Appreciate it quite a lot. Thank you. Looking
Yes.
forward to seeing you on the calls and such, as it is a new month starting soon.
And those
So-
movie watches.
Yeah, the movie watches.
Mhm.
Hey, Redwin6610 with the Twitch Prime for 4 months. Thank you for
Thank you.
the support, bro. Appreciate it. Tachi Gamer 96 with the tier 1 sub for 12 months in a row.
In a row.
MHA coming soon, PogChamp.
Wow.
Yes,
Yep,
it is.
It is.
And we're going to be talking about something quite unique with regards to sequel seasons this podcast, Jacob. Like we're
yeah.
talking not just about like shows that have sequels coming out that we're excited about and ones that what we expect to happen in them, but how in some ways our thoughts and opinions and journey on these shows that have these long-running sequel seasons of sorts
might change.
They've changed. They've
Yeah.
evolved. They've grown. They've not remained static.
Right.
Because that's just how it be.
But yeah, that is how it be. And the thing is we've talked before, and I'm sure we're all familiar with when that happens with a show that, say, you watched a long time ago and then you pick it up, 5-10 years later, right? And it's a completely different experience. But having that happen as the show is coming out, it's quite different.
Yeah. Like we had a lot of shows that we watched basically as they came out. I think Attack on Titan, I was a little bit behind. But Attack on Titan is a great example of that, where we both watched each season essentially as it came out.
Yeah, I got into it pretty much right after the first season ended.
And then when the first season ended, there was a little bit of a gap of time where you're like, I'll wait for the anime, and then you're like, no, I'm going to read the manga. Right? So we each basically had this very unique journey on following a show through the ups and downs, and I think Attack on Titan is a great example of where we can kind of give a microcosm of what this podcast will be about. We loved season 1 when it came out. Oh my god, we got swept up in the hype. Right?
Oh yeah, and we watched it. I actually had some self-restraint back then and held off for a while on the manga, and I just tried rewatching the anime, over and over again.
As you do,
because I was completely obsessed, and it was just the best thing ever, right? But eventually I broke down and I was like, all right, I need to know what happens next. Read the manga.
Yeah.
And here we are in a land where season 4 is on its way, and that's going to be the last season, and I can't even begin to think about that. But like in some ways, I feel like Attack on Titan is both the great example and at the same time the exception. Because my anime journey pretty much was Attack on Titan, right? Like, as Attack on Titan got me into looking for other anime. So, you know, from how I was as an anime fan back then to where I am now, I still love Attack on Titan.
But your opinions
but
and
my
your
opinion of it and the way I approach it and everything is so completely different than it was back then.
Yeah.
And in some other cases, it, like for other shows, it might be different, right? Where there's
the shine, the sheen, the hype, all that stuff might not
quite be there as
anymore.
much. Like and with something like say like Made in Abyss is one where I am very excited for when it gets more content, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I know that I will need to get back into the mode of Made in Abyss in order to be properly, like, you know, ready for that.
Like, do you guys feel that when you're in chat? Like, you guys in chat here, like, do you feel that when you're like, oh my god, I've been waiting for 2 years or 3 years for, what's that? Spice and Wolf. You're like, I've been waiting for years for Spice and Wolf season 3 or what have you. And what if it finally came out? Your sequel season that you've been waiting for forever. Like, shout out in chat the shows that you wish were getting sequel seasons. Like that kind of thing.
Spice and Wolf.
Yeah, you probably have a ton. I don't have as many because I'm not as cultured. But for those of you that have been waiting, you probably, when you get that season announcement or what have you, you're like, oh, I'm going to go back and rewatch the whole show again. But the main reason why you might be doing that is not just because
for the sake of re-experiencing it, but almost to, like, prepare yourself for when more of it comes out.
Right. Yeah. But also I would say to try and regain a lot of the energy that you had when you first watched it, when you were, like, not aware that there was going to be a you know, a dead end point where you wouldn't have any more content left.
Yeah. Especially if it's something where it's like a very, very much a thriller type story, or you only ever saw it once. So, like, because, like, you know, eventually, at least for, like, me and Caleb, it'll get to the point where if we watch something enough, we kind of don't need to watch it again because we'll just be able to, like, you know, rewatch it in our heads.
Yeah.
But if it's something where it's like, oh, I only watched this once, where did it leave off exactly? What were all the plot threads that were sort of left in the air that hadn't been resolved yet? Or, you know.
For sure. Okay, a lot of people are listing off a bunch of things there. Yeah, for sure. So, thank you for bringing up ReZero, actually, Salo Ghost, because I put on ReZero onto this list in something that I will bring up later, in that ReZero is a show that initially, I'm not going to lie, I was really hyped about ReZero. There are arcs within ReZero that I still think are amazing. When ReZero hit that latter quarter of the season,
episode 18,
my hype and interest in ReZero tanked faster than Bleach's, like, you know, art direction, like in the Hueco Mundo arc. Like it tanked so fast. Because I loved everything about the twins arc. Like that that was amazing. It was so good. But then time went on. The show had whale wars. The show went into politics that didn't matter.
The show existed after I Love Amelia. like, let's be real here.
But here's the thing. I'm with you, Jacob, in that if season 2 is good, and season 2 rekindles that same passion that I had for the earlier parts of ReZero, like the beginning of ReZero, oh, it's such a good cold open into an isekai, I will get so invested again, because I'll be able to be like, okay, we can move on, because that was its own compartmentalized section.
Right, that was one light novel, now we're on to a different one.
We're on to a different one.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about how these 3 shows especially, MHA, Haikyuu, and RWBY, we each have very different individual kind of stages that we're in, I believe, on this journey of dealing with shows that have these sequels, and they'll just probably keep pumping out sequels. At least I hope so. That Haikyuu is just spoiler alert. The one I'm most excited for those 3 is Haikyuu. I am like so excited for Haikyuu.
And it's like, no, like, of course, right? You know, for Caleb, the thing is, me too.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of surprised by that. I would have expected it to be MHA. And maybe it's just that Fortnite arc or something, but, you know, like, but Haikyuu, it's like, all right, yeah, let's get back into it, right?
Like, guys, I have so much emotional attachment that goes beyond what the show even, like, is, like, able to give me, just because of how much the time spent without them has made me grow fonder. Like, I'm so ready. Now, we're going to bring up something that we want to make sure you guys don't take out of context here.
Right.
Because this is going to maybe...
Because this will sound off.
This is going to sound off.
Right.
So, MHA, we are excited for, but not nearly as excited as we were for season 3.
Right. I'm actually at the point where I'm a little bit worried about MHA season 4, and mostly I would say like thinking on it, it's like no, that's not grounded. Like, you know, it's just it had the one bad arc, and that was just, you know, like Bakugo versus Deku was amazing, but still, you know, that was the arc previous.
Exactly.
Right.
So here's what it is. We have MHA Season 1. It arrests us in that beautiful introduction to a classic shonen. That's just what it is. It's a great shonen opening. It's so good. Those first 3 episodes are just delightful.
I mean,
Season
we
1,
fell in love.
Yeah, like Season 1. Yeah, it continues basically the stories. Nothing crazy. We have some really good fights. We have some really cool character stuff from Deku and All Might. Season 2 happens and we go, oh, well, hold up a minute. This is a really good shonen.
Right.
This is a really good shonen. Yeah. Okay, that's special. Season 2 has some teacher-student fights, and we're like, okay.
But it still had the entire tournament.
It had the tournament, had the stain stuff. It's pretty good. Then we get into Season 3. And hear me out here. But Season 3's first half, and I would say also that part where you get that amazing All Might and Deku's mom stuff.
Yeah.
That was just, so good. But that latter bit, after having time to think on it and, you know, just kind of settle on it, it was Fortnite.
Yeah.
It was Fortnite and the reveal of a specific villain's...
right. Spending an entire episode that hinged entirely on...
Yeah.
Just revealing a villain's quirk that you already figured that's what it was based on what they were doing, but the entire episode could have been removed. Like, it could have just been a little bit thrown in there.
We're aware that, like, people have told us, it's not a great part in the story overall. So it's going to get really good. But we have to bring that back up again. We have to try and rekindle the same passion that we had at the earlier parts of Season 3.
Yeah, exactly. The stuff with Twice, the stuff with Deku and Bakugo at the end.
Yes.
Great stuff, right?
Stuff.
You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's MHA Season 4 is going to be great. But we have to remember, like, exactly like what the show was as a whole, right? Not
just the individual arcs.
Because with MHA, it's never really been something where every single episode was mind-blowingly amazing. It's that the episodes were always good, and then it would have these parts where it would just blow your goddamn mind, right?
Right.
And that's what they'll do, right? You know, so it's But it's weird coming to that sort of realization and remembering that because looking back on something, right? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. You know, like we'll tend to remember the highlights, right? You know, the 210s, the 311s, right? You know, all of that stuff where it's just like, yes, right?
God, I still remember 2-7.
Oh yeah.
Any Shinso fans out there?
Yeah.
Like, I can't finish, like, this is a weird thing for me to get triggered by, but I can't finish someone's MHA reactions if they don't respond positively or emotionally to the Shinso situation. Because that was a story that didn't need to happen, like, in terms of the thing there, and it probably has one of the one of the biggest, I would say, plot holes with regards to MHA that we just kind of, it's fine.
Like,
it's
Deku
fine.
shouldn't have won that fight, but Avatar State,
let's just go past that. Yeah. But that bit there just showed me, okay, we can make any character come up to the spotlight and give them a little bit of depth, and we will get you. We will get you right in the Kokoro. Like, that's going to be some good stuff. So we now are in this weird state with MHA. And we'll get to RWBY eventually and Haikyuu and all that. But MHA, I feel like, is a big one because not only is this probably one of the biggest shows for our channel, just as far as, people who come to watch our reactions, go.
Well, and it certainly opened us up to all the shonen that we've seen since, which is kind of a big deal.
Exactly. So it's important because it reminded me that classic shonen can be amazing. Like, I think a lot of people still are getting frustrated by the fact that I, rate MHA, because I don't really rate shows, but because I had to throw a number up there for my anime list, people are like, oh my god, like, you think, MHA is like, a flawless show or something like that. And no, if anything, like, MHA is the kind of show that means so much to me because shonen before MHA to me were like a toxic, dirty thing. I didn't like it. It's just just so So with regards to where it's going, I would love to have the same hype and excitement as I did for season 3, knowing that All for One was coming. We're gonna get like Shigaraki development. Like, All Might's time is running out. There's so many things that could happen in season 3, and I have that same potential thing for season 4. But it's with characters that I haven't gotten attached to yet.
Right.
Like, I love the idea of Mirio. Like, Mirio's quirk is amazingly cool.
But I do not care about the big 3.
But we don't know them yet.
Yeah.
We don't know them yet.
And Overhaul, his name sounds awesome.
Yep.
Right? So I'm open to being surprised. But as for how much I am excited for Overhaul, as from what I've seen so far, not much at all. But because of that name and everything, I know that they could totally surprise me with that, right?
Well, right. It's my Overhaul predictions and excitement is more of a meta one than a thing that they've shown me in the show.
Right.
Because his name is literally Overhaul. Like, he's like, I'm going to overhaul the plot. I'm going to overhaul the world. In fact, my quirk is probably something with regards to overhauling. So,
right. So,
we end up with a character that's like, okay, I'm supposed to fill the shoes of All for One and provide maybe
I'm supposed to be a
combo with Shigaraki. So,
but I'm a temp villain that we're introducing because we don't want to use. All for One's out of the way. We don't want to use Shigaraki yet. We also don't want to use...
Shigaraki will probably be involved.
Like, he'll be involved in everything, but it's not shifting the focus to, Dabi or Toga as much, or things like that. It's,
they're introducing a new character. Which means that we, on a meta level, are like, okay, how much permanency can they really have?
Exactly. So, how attached should we actually get?
So we're... Okay, hold on. I've been missing some bits. I'm sorry. Keltjin, thank you so much for the 500 bits. You are not ready for Season 4 of MHA. Okay. Thank you so much. And also for the Twitch Prime sub. Tenchi Hinanawa 1, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. On the topic of sequels, did you guys watch Season 2 of Psycho-Pass? And if so, are you looking forward to Season 3?
We have not.
We have not, and we'll see about Psycho-Pass Season 3. I think we're waiting for feedback on that one. Thank you for the hosted radio. And Keltjin again with the 500 bits. Thank you so much. Do you plan on reacting to the Season 4 teasers of MHA? I think we were told not to.
Yeah.
I think we were told not to.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Jacob, MHA has all the potential out there, but we need to basically, we need to get the fire rekindled.
Right, it's like if you've been swimming for a long time, and then you go out of the pool, and then you're thinking of going back in, but you're like, I don't know, there will be some cold shock maybe or something.
Yeah, that's a great example.
So you kind of have to dip your toe in and just ease your way back into it.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tiaosu49 with the Twitch Prime sub. Glad to have you here.
Yes.
Be sure to, if you have a free Twitch Prime, check it out and give it to us, because that also gives you access to our private Discord server. So sync your Twitch and Discord accounts up for that whole lovely goodness. Okay.
Mineta Hentai Academy.
Okay, so season 4, there's a lot of things that can happen there with MHA.
Absolutely.
But let's shift focus here to a show that has a lot of meaning, I would say, for us with regards to the channel and our past history, but isn't really in the same vein of any of the other shows we do, and that's RWBY.
Yep.
And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, RWBY, not an anime, I'm leaving. So yeah, let me.
But like, hey, this anime reaction channel started with RWBY.
Yeah, this whole thing started with RWBY. So let me give you a little bit of a background here. I used to watch Red vs. Blue from Rooster Teeth, Blood Gulch, everything, all the way through, like, religiously.
It's crazy to think how long ago that was.
Yeah. When they released the teaser for RWBY Volume 1, for the Red trailer, the music, the animation, everything was so beautiful, and we had watched Monty take the machinima genre and just redefine it forever, basically, with his
especially
mocap,
in
with
Red
his
vs.
mocap
Blue.
choreography and stuff.
The looks on our faces, like
season 8, 9,
if
and 10,
if only we had a reaction channel at that point to capture what it was like when we saw the proper machinima like stuff being used in Red vs. Blue for the first time,
and Red vs. Blue with actual storytelling writing, and it's just like
it blew our minds. And then suddenly it's like, oh, the guy who made this all possible, he's doing his own show. Okay. All right, awesome.
So when RWBY started, like, we were day one fans, watched all the trailers and everything like that, didn't even know that reaction channels were a thing. And when season 3 has its mic drop of an ending, someone shared to me that people were reacting to that, and I'm like, that's the coolest thing, I gotta check that out. When I saw how much people were getting, like, emotionally invested into it, like we were, because we were, like, talking back and forth about this show all
we were
the time.
getting everyone we possibly could to watch this show.
Especially after season 3.
After season 3 mainly.
So when we ended up doing the channel as, like, a joke for the hey, let's react to RWBY Volume 4, why not? And then everyone then kind of the meme, everyone liked that, you know. We have in some ways a little bit of an emotional connection to this show on a meta level that goes beyond our actual enjoyment of it. It's something that is based on the fact that it's the thing that started all of this.
There's a lot of nostalgia there, even though it's still coming out, kind of a thing. As weird as that might sound. Because we've seen it grow up from being this tiny little passion project trailer thing, you know, bookended after the credits of a different show we were watching. You know.
So it feels like, you know, this baby that we got to watch grow up, and now we're cheering for it as it's in its teen years, struggling to figure out who it is. And we're like,
and we might not necessarily like all the things that it's doing, but we're cheering it on that it's doing them. Like,
in some ways, I kind of want to say that I don't measure RWBY in terms of hype, because with MHA and Haikyuu, there's actual, like, hype for me. With RWBY, it's more like
curious.
It's more like hopeful curiosity.
Because that's pretty much me too.
Because it's like, okay, where can this show that started off as this little, you know, indie project or whatever, Fascination, Senjugahara Fascination, exactly. It's just like, oh, where can you go? Where are the ends to which RWBY where will this show end up? I want to be there for every step of its journey. And that story is going to mean something in 10 years. Be like, oh yeah, I watched it come into its fruition now that RWBY ended up spinning off at that point to create other shows, or, you know, have its own franchise anthology universe and what have you. It's crazy, right? It doesn't deserve that. Well, barely anything deserves that, but the fact that it's potentially going to get that is just crazy. So I don't have, like, crazy hype for RWBY. I have this, like, I did have hype for RWBY, if that makes sense.
But in a lot of ways, the hype has died down, and
just because it's been going for so long.
Just because it's been going for so long, and we have had some less than seasons along the way, which is weird to say that now. Because Volume 6 was one of the best seasons we've ever had, right? But when it's like, okay, Volume 7, it's like, will they be able to continue this? Will they be able to hold to the heart of the show that made us fall in love with it in the first place? You know, because like we've said many times before in our RWBY reactions that we ship RWBY with character development. I still do,
Yeah.
right? But when I think about like what I'm hopefully looking forward to in RWBY, it's not like I'm not excited for RWBY character development. I'm still hoping that it happens, but I'm
RWBY
not...
being the main character, for those of you who are confused.
Right,
Because the show is RWBY, but the main character is RUBY.
Exactly, yeah.
It's confusing.
It is confusing. But then, like, Weiss, I'm like, yes, let's see what happens with Weiss, because Weiss is amazing, right? But, like, a lot of the stuff that I used to be just sort of almost cheesily, you know, looking forward to, like, just seeing what would happen with the
fights.
The fights or the dumb, cheesy little romance between Jean and Pyrrha, you know? Like, and all of that, and being like, okay, what is the thing now that I will be hoping for? Not anything in particular, because there's wanting to see certain things happen, right? Like Stark flashbacks. Yes, I am so excited for that, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of little things.
There's a lot of little things, but like as far as like something where I'm so in love with it that I just want to see stuff happen with it, and I don't really care what it is. That's pretty much down to Weiss for me at this point. And I'm excited to see if that ends up changing, but it's weird thinking about the fact that what at one point was, oh my god, this is amazing, right? I love this so much, everyone needs to know about it. And now it's like, okay, I'm excited to see what they do with it, but I'm not holding my breath, kind of a thing.
Right. And that's something that I feel like it's not sad, it's just a thing that would happen for a show that started off in such a unique way. Now, to contrast this all completely, let's wrap around all the way back to the beginning with Haikyuu here. Haikyuu is not an old show for the channel. It's not something that's been around for a long time with regards to our story as anime viewers. But in terms of the influence, like specifically for me, with regards to it being a team sports show, and having such good characters for, like, when they choose to have their character be focused on, Haikyuu has, like, ascended beyond what is incapable of Caleb's rational mind of liking something. It's something where the characters have become family to me, and I will never use this word unironically, but I am basically the equivalent of a calm Haikyuu stan. Like, that is the equivalent of my hype for Haikyuu. I'm just short of, like, you know, like gathering the collection of fan art, you know, in a specific folder and then posting it up everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not quite at that level. For me, it's basically like there was Haikyuu, and then after that there was Kill la Kill, and now it's going back to Haikyuu, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Like, there are certain things that put a smile on our face, to quote a purple guy,
and like,
out there.
And not just put a smile on our face, but like we can't help but put a smile on our face.
We cannot take
like,
that smile off our faces.
Right, like,
it's
like,
so
like we could be having the most shit day of our lives, right? But watching Haikyuu and watching these boys just, you know, be so excited about their sport, it's just sort of like, all right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's watch this, you know.
Yep, Mesker one, exactly. The level of hype where you want to shake your arms around like excitedly like a kid. Yep. It's basically that. Oh, and Gorgon Fish, yes, we have worn our Haikyuu jerseys out specifically to the RTX convention. I believe that was 2018's convention.
Yeah. And I've worn the other just Haikyuu shirts with the Karasuno on there.
Oh, everywhere.
The team. I've worn those plenty of times, and I've gotten some comments on it. It's great whenever people are like, "Hey, great shirt."
Oh my god,
like,
yeah. So Haikyuu ends up being this special thing where, if anything, the absence with it has made me grow to appreciate the show, the characters even more, because the time I spent with them was precious. And in some ways, Haikyuu is one that I don't want to go and react to. I'm sorry, not react to, rewatch. One I don't want to rewatch. I don't want to rewatch, like, the whole thing to get caught up to speed or what have you.
Interesting.
I want to basically have that pure, genuine, innocent enjoyment of where, when the thing hits me, it hits me so hard because it's been so long, it was so powerful when it was there, and I trust the show implicitly to be able to grip me so hard like that, and then bring it right back to the beginning where it was.
That was Attack on Titan. Where it's just this thing of where it's like you never left. And I think for Haikyuu, it'll probably take me about 3 minutes of the first episode of season 4 for me to get back into it. You know, so it'll take that little bit, but it won't take long at all.
Yeah. Haikyuu is a drug. Enough said. It's pretty crazy.
It's basically straight dopamine.
Yeah. I haven't watched RWBY and Haikyuu, but all your discussions are very interesting to me. I love being spoiled on these kinds of shows, and I'm looking forward for your long discussion for One Piece too. Yeah.
One Piece, oh boy.
Oh my god. So with regards to these sequels, y'all, like which of these three, MHA, Haikyuu, and RWBY, are you most excited for? Because I want to vicariously tap into your excitement. Regardless of which one it is. I don't care about which one you're least excited in. I just want to know about which one you are the most excited for. Okay, here they come. I'm guessing it's going to be mostly MHA and Haikyuu. Haikyuu! Hajime no Ippo Season 4. I think you're on the wrong memo there. MHA, and I've read the manga. Oh, okay. Haikyuu. I'm most excited for MHA. I've read the manga. MHA is MHA. MHA because I'm a big time fan of the show. Haikyuu.
Club
Haikyuu
Penguin
easily. Too. MHA, I've been waiting 2 years for this arc to be adapted. Oh, dang.
No Game, No Life Season 2. Ha.
Okay. Awesome. Lunar, honestly, Haikyuu. I love MHA, but I'm most excited to watch Haikyuu with you guys. Aw.
Haikyuu's just wonderful.
Haikyuu is beautiful, and every character is so endearing. You can't not love them. I agree. As a manga reader, both Haikyuu and MHA will be amazing, but MHA is a little better in my opinion. Okay.
Of the three, MHA. Personally, Mob Psycho Season 3.
Mob Psycho Season 3. Mob Psycho Season 3 should, like potentially close it out, right? Because there's not much Mob Psycho left. Someone was telling me that it ended recently.
Well, yeah, because they only did the 100 chapters for the manga.
Yeah.
So given that it's been, a cour per season, like 3 cours, that's almost 40 episodes. I can't imagine it would be more than 2.5 episodes per chapter, or chapters per episode.
Oh, we have our first person mentioning RWBY of the thing here. Nura! Of course it's Nura! Yeah. Hey, buddy! Good to see you here. The trivia legend there. Yeah, and another person with RWBY. The Red Wind 6610. Yes, cool. Awesome. Okay, so
Hunter 2025.
So here's the thing that I would love to see from everyone here in chat. Obviously, you have your specific reason if you are ahead on the content. Now, RWBY, you can't be ahead on the content because there's no manga. But for people that, for people that are excited for Haikyuu and MHA, and you can't say spoilers, obviously, but what is the, not what is the level of your hype, but what is, the focus? Not the story reason behind it, but, the...
like a general thing, if it was, the characters or the story.
Yeah, exactly. The specific element of the show that you're most hyped for with regards to Haikyuu and MHA. I'm literally wearing the MHA Deku shirt right now to try to channel even more of the old MHA kind of stuff to remember, what it was like.
Oh, March Comes in Like a Lion Season 3 would be so...
Sangatsu Season 3 would be so good. Yes.
Oh, man.
MHA, the action, okay. It's hard to say, okay. I've been waiting for the matches in Season 4 of Haikyuu for years at this point. Oh, Learn Your Sin, that's awesome. MHA's characters. MHA is amazing. It just gets better. Haikyuu having 40 episodes, it's one of the best things that are going to happen in 2020.
Yeah, wait. Someone said that was a rumor.
Total?
Is that actually going to be a thing?
No. That can't be right.
Because that's for a single season, that's too much. You can't have too much Haikyuu.
Wait, no.
But
no, that can't be right. Haikyuu can't have 40 episodes in a season.
You could do 3 cour. They only did 1 cour last time, but there's no way.
Mirio, okay. MHA Uraraka Deku interactions, okay. For me, the music voice acting on a certain moment in NHA. Ooh.
Okay.
MHA, yeah. MHA, the hype set pieces, and Haikyuu, the characters, okay. Haikyuu, since I didn't read the manga and it changed my life. MHA read the manga, and the next arc is my favorite. There's a lot of people that have been saying the next arc is actually their favorite, and I'm like, we had the tournament arc, we had the the All for One stuff. I'm excited. Oh, MHA, legalism versus heroism. Oh,
interesting.
Oh, they brought that up a little bit in season 2. I would love to see probably not just a better handling of that, but a larger handling of that, like a more world implication.
Sangatsu season San, yeah.
I think Haikyuu for me as an anime is more hype because I think MHA is already very cinematic as a manga, but Haikyuu really profits from being animated for this visceral feeling, the speed and impact it gives.
Gotcha.
I know what you mean, Sailor Ghost. I've seen still images from the manga in earlier parts, and it definitely looks good,
but it's not the same.
It is way more of a temptation for me to read the manga of something like MHA than it would be for Haikyuu. I couldn't imagine ever wanting to read the Haikyuu manga. Like, just the idea of not seeing the boys jumping around and synchronized movements.
Not
and
hearing
like
the squawks and whatnot.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Glop! Blah! Slop!
Yeah, okay, the longer Haikyuu goes on, the closer the story has to get to the school year ending, and I'm not prepared for that to happen whatsoever.
Bytecraft, yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, Haikyuu will probably be too core. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, there will be an OVA alongside Haikyuu, I know about that. Haikyuu, since it's one of the first shows I watched with you guys, thanks to Danger Zone. I remember that Shiro Torizawa match got 10 episodes, and there are more matches to come, so 40 episodes can be realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, Mitya, okay. MHA, character development, reaffirmment through fights akin to episodes 3-4. Oh.
Cool.
Okay, can I give a hot take on 3-4 of MHA?
I mean...
Because I think we have the same opinion on this in a lot of ways, so I think you know what I'm going to say.
It's one of the best unimportant fights ever.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah.
That fight is not the highlight of 3-4 to me.
Yeah.
The fight was really well animated.
But it's all about what it means.
But if you think about what that episode meant...
Yep.
And if you look at the themes of MHA, and this is the reason why I would even say MHA is a great shonen beyond all the little things, is because of how consistently it sticks to the themes of what does it mean to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get introduced to this new character in season 3, Koda, we're like, okay, cool, Koda, new kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realize, he punches Deku in the dick. He doesn't like heroes because of a very real dark thing that happened in his past. And we're like, okay, that's a really emotional backstory. But then it wasn't until 3-4 when I realized that Deku became his hero that I realized that MHA had done this over and over again already.
Mm-hmm.
They'd done this with Ida.
Yep.
They'd done this with Todoroki.
Mm-hmm.
They'd done this with basically all the characters. They did it with Deku.
Mm-hmm.
Every character needs someone else to come in and be their hero. Be someone that will be the hero for them in their specific situation. And the emotional just climax, essentially, of the fight was basically the representation of Koda being saved, finding a hero out
saving
there.
His heart, not just saving his life.
Yeah, which is literally the Todoroki situation.
Yep.
And the fact that MHA keeps doing that in different, unique, visually pleasing ways.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes 3-4 so special to me. Because, it's a really hype fight. But in terms of what it means for the story, no, the fight, no, not really. The fight means something because it means something to the characters. Now, I know that's kind of arguing semantics at this point.
But that is very important. I feel like, because, 210, right, blew up like crazy, because of course it did, right? But that's that's why it did. It wasn't just because of the animation. The animation was there. The buildup was there. There was the fact that the two super powerful quirks clashing, and having the amazing what's his name, Yutaka. I forget the animator's name, but the animator, the guy,
yes,
the guy that was, that animated for Sword of the Stranger and for the Bebop movie and for
anime experts, help us out here. Who was the animator for 210 that was also the animator for all that other stuff? Yeah,
right.
His Sakuga
and One Punch Man and stuff. Like that. All those things helped, right?
Yes, but Yutaka Nakamura.
Yeah.
What a legend! Yeah. What a legend!
Yeah. Like. Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember the Bakugo part where he made Bakugo smash through a building as he launched himself in the the beginning of season 3 when he rescues himself?
Oh.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Utapon cubes.
Yes. Okay, so
But that was because of the heart and the keeping to the themes and everything.
Well said, Cychronia. Yeah, you just encapsulated it right there. Izuku versus Muscular is the epitome of a microcosm. The fight doesn't mean anything on a small scale, but it basically told 80% of Izuku's story in 15 minutes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's why we care. Because
that's why we care. Yeah.
Because when I first saw Muscular in the OP, I was like, this guy looks about as bland as a villain can get, and I hope to God they don't spend much time on whoever fights him.
And they didn't.
And
they spent an episode and a half.
Well, right, but the fight with him got the primary focus over all the others, right? And I was so okay with that, because of what they made it mean. Right. So, yeah.
So good.
Yep.
The Sakuga for the lip sync when he calls Kirishima an idiot is so great. Yes, I agree. I can still see it in my mind's eye perfectly. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Yeah, so everyone knows who we were talking about. Yutaka Nakamura. Yeah, okay, awesome. So, okay, we have MHA being in this, I would say, in this unique place where since then, we've watched a lot of shonen that are like the legendary shonen. It's been the shonen that each defined a certain aspect of really the shonen genre. Like JoJo's,
One Piece,
Hunter Hunter. Like, thinking about these types of shonen and how MHA basically has the ability to ride on the momentum of all these great things that have come before it. I still have that minor bit of trepidation in my heart about MHA being the next, Bleach, essentially. The thing of where it goes on and has some amazing early arcs. And 200 episodes later, I'm like, because I'm really enjoying it in the moment, but I'm going to have a moment where I look back and go,
I don't enjoy it nearly as much as back then. Yeah. Well, and thankfully, because of the airing format, we don't have to worry about massive filler arcs that are just awful. We have gotten some filler, but considering what it was like in the past for shonen, long-running shonen, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I just have to mention, yes, Chronia, also Konosuba season 3 movie in U.S. theaters November 12th, folks.
Yeah, go watch Konosuba's Konosuba's movie.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Speaking as someone who's read the light novel for it. Yeah.
Ippo, we're not finished with it yet, obviously, but Ippo, now that I think about it, would have been another influential shonen that we're getting to as well.
Right, and granted, it's I feel like the reason maybe we didn't mention that is because it's a subset of shonen in that it's not a battle shonen, it is a sports shonen.
Yes. Yes, that
and most of the ones we were talking about were battle shonen, but yeah.
Yeah, we also haven't watched that much of Ippo percentage-wise, Ippo is super good.
What filler? You mean the year wait for the Ichigo versus Ulquiorra fight? Yeah, among other things.
Oh my gosh. Fortunately, there's a huge difference between MHA and Bleach. Bleach was written by an artist-designer who made it big writing. MHA is a much more consistent and well-grounded...
Yes.
Is in much more consistent and well-grounded hands.
Right, yeah, because Tite Kubo really just wanted to draw stuff.
Yeah. Hence with his super large one-page panels where he would just be like, all right, here's a Bankai.
Well, and why you know, the story was just a rehash every arc after Soul Society. It's just, all right, let's just copy paste, Control C and Control V.
Yeah. Ichigo grabbing Aizen's face made up for the hundreds of mediocre episodes, guys.
I mean, that was very satisfying. I don't enjoy half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of Shonen half as well as it deserves.
Amju, that's
I mean, that saying can be either a very positive thing or a very negative thing, depending on perspective, so thank you.
Yeah, I kind of like it, though. Because I think maybe for me, in a lot of ways, there's things with Shonen that I've specifically had more opportunity being able to pull out of it. Like there's things in Shonen that I've been like, oh, I didn't know Shonen could do this. I didn't think they were allowed to. I thought they had to just have set pieces in battles and then, 12 episodes of, random, power spikes and stuff. But with what we've got thus far in some of the Shonen that we're watching, nowadays, and then also things like MHA, yeah, they have parts where their ambition exceeds their ability to execute. Like, I think the whole idea of MHA having a Class 1A and a Class 1B is insane in terms of ambition.
When they're not even really focusing on Class 1A.
They don't even really give Class 1A full focus. And then they add tons of new characters. Like, I can feel already certain patterns of Horikoshi where I'm like, it's not a problem. It's just kind of a funny thing where he's like, oh, I can't wait to showcase this quirk and character design combination I've come up with. And it's like, but there might be a personal preference of what if you didn't do that and instead focused on
gave us more like Momo focus, like that one episode that was so great, and doing that for the other characters too. Yeah,
and yet when they go for their high execution thing on the simple, consistent themes that they built up across the show, it just hit it out of the park every time. So for me, I'm kind of along the lines with Jacob in that the hype with MHA will need to be built back up again a little bit. But if we can go a little bit into theory time here, y'all. You want to go into theory time a little bit here? MHA Season 4, the build-up for it, I think, was saved a little bit by those last 2 episodes in Season 3.
With Deku and Bakugo.
That was one of the best showdowns from a character perspective in MHA we've had in a while.
Well, and it was one of those things that had been built up to for a very long time, but it wasn't as obvious of a build-up.
Yeah.
Like, because we could tell that they were building it up, right? But it wasn't as obvious of what they were building up to. Like, the Todoroki Deku fight, right?
Yeah.
It was very clear that they were building up to a point where these guys are going to fight, right?
Yep.
In the case of All Might versus All for One, right? That was very clear that there's going to come a point where they're going to fight. There's going to come a point where All Might's not going to be around anymore, right? Very, very clear, distinct things. Whereas with Bakugo and Deku, we see the development that Bakugo is getting, and we see how Bakugo is interacting with Deku, but we don't exactly know how they're going to handle it.
Yep.
And now that we're into Season 4, and they've kind of gotten past most of the they have to do these specific things kind of a deal, in some ways, like, you could see that as being like a potentially negative thing of the, oh, they've played all their cards kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Or it's that, oh, we're in open world. We're in open world now.
We're in the open world now where the world matters more, and the characters are going to play in said sandbox. And because we've solidified enough of the characters, which you're going to care about a lot of them, we can do things that we previously couldn't do in MHA. And I think specifically with Bakugo being someone that, like, I took a while to come to appreciate.
Oh, like, yeah.
I don't know if you remember, y'all. I wasn't the biggest Bakugo fan.
Especially in Season 1. Like,
especially
and I would say Bakugo wasn't that great in Season 1. But,
But now we have a boy who's learning. We have a boy who has All Might who's always been his hero.
Oh, yeah.
We have a boy who's now, in some ways, had to wrestle not only with his own perceived guilt, but his own shortcomings, and then push past them like a proper protagonist. So that's just within 2 of our main characters. But then they also did this thing where they showcased a character that I felt was kind of a joke, a meme, if you will. And that's Twice.
Twice, yeah.
Now, let's see if we can meta get inside the head of Horikoshi here. Let's go big brain, Jacob.
Well,
you guys miss Big Brain SOS, where we just would sit here and like build little worlds out of minuscule things. So why do you think Horikoshi, in this kind of lull point where it seems like he probably wanted to end season 3 with an arc ending, which is, you know, the Fortnite, you know, whatever, the Battle Royale stuff. Okay. But instead he ends it with all this other stuff. He introduced the big 3. He does the Deku Bakugo fight, which probably feels the most finale in terms of spectacle.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Then we also had the introduction of new villains.
Well,
kind of.
Yes.
But they have this little bit in there as well. They have this little bit
the whole
Twice.
Thing with Twice.
And it's like, wait, he's not an important character as far as the main storyline goes, right? Then he's also like if there's A-list villains and B-list villains and C-list villains, he's like a funny D-list villain. Like his quirk is really cool.
But so what I get the feeling is
I was just building up. I had something I was gonna say, but
go for it.
Okay. I think Horikoshi is giving us this bit here with Twice to let us know that how we fundamentally see the world of MHA is wrong.
Right. And the thing is that fits with the fact that Overhaul's name is Overhaul.
Yeah.
But also, so in the case of Bakugo, I feel like this is actually kind of a similar style of build-up to Bakugo, in that with Bakugo, the build-up was happening, but it wasn't necessarily given a clear direction. It was just a thing, and it was there, and it was nice flavor. The way that Bakugo acted in the tournament, right? That was helpful. That was good, right? But it didn't necessarily build up exactly to where Bakugo is now. It's or at least it wasn't clear that it was building up to that, right? But it was definitely doing something with Bakugo as a character. And I feel like the whole thing with Twice is basically the equivalent of build up off of what we got with Stain in season 2.
Yeah.
Right? And what we got even earlier with like Mountain Lady in episode 1, right? The idea that heroes, just because you're heroes doesn't necessarily mean you're heroes. Right?
Yeah.
And that was I feel like that came to a climax of sorts with Stain. But now they're introducing the idea of villains doesn't necessarily mean you're villains.
Yes.
Which one can be built up to the whole idea of Deku rescuing Shigaraki and saving Shigaraki, which I am so excited for if they do that. But that's way long term.
That's big
stuff.
Brain crazy theory at the very end of the show.
That's very end. And in some ways that might make it more clear because that's the very, very end, right? But in the case of what they're doing here, I feel like this is now the making people actually people, right? The idea that Twice is just some dude, right?
Yep, he gets some dude that rolled unlucky on as far as quirks go.
And now he's roped in with the rest of these guys because you know that's just how the cards ended up going. And now we're going to see how it goes from here on out. And the thing is that could tie in very, very well to the whole idea of the main theme, which is what does it mean to be a hero, and Deku constantly saving people's hearts, not just themselves, right? Because this is where Deku could really get into being a true hero, not just being someone that has a hero license.
Right. Because if you think about what a villain is, in terms of simple superhero comic kind of stuff like that, they are just characters that oppose the protagonists. It's the definition of an antagonist. That's all they are. But in comic books, there's this dramatis persona. There's this added element of over-the-top, grandiose aspect to it. We have a costume. We have powers. We have all this extra stuff.
We have capes and underwear on the outside of your pants. Yeah.
All these things that draw attention away from the fact that these are human beings. Unless you're in the DC universe, then you're fighting gods sometimes. But the point is, in terms of what this show is, that everyone's people.
Yep.
And these people don't just end up in these situations because they're evil and they want to oppose the heroes. They have realistic motivations. They have things that are sometimes outside of their control that push them in certain directions. Shigaraki is a great example of this. People, when like when I was first watching the show, MHA and stuff, I kind of laughed at the idea of Shigaraki.
Oh,
He's a joke of a villain.
Right.
And that's the thing.
He is. And he needs to grow up. Right. Whether he's going to grow up and decide to be a villain and be a true, like a proper villain, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully not, but that's what he's shaping up to. Or something else.
Or something else, right? Which is what
that's
I'm
his
hoping.
Choice. And one of the things that I've kind of been really curious to see if they ended up doing something like this. Really ever since Stain. Because and it's from the randomest, weirdest thing. But it was from the woof woof police officer guy, right? Mm. Now, granted, the way he talked about it, like going back and thinking about it, more in hindsight, it's like, yes, he was just saying like, hey, you guys did good, thank you, but we can't set a bad example, so I need to
right.
reprimand you and whatnot, and they were all freaking out, so he's like, well, I'm going to show you the different angle. But I could almost see something where they leave the school, and they leave the school as in they're not necessarily on the right side of the law anymore.
Who?
The main characters.
I see that.
Where they do things that basically get them in trouble, and whether that's because Hero Society has been infiltrated and taken over. I
think you're jumping way too much into potential things of the future.
Maybe.
That just feels okay, gotcha.
But like the idea that we could get to a point where the kids start to realize that basically it's not so black and white as they originally thought, right? And that means that that there's heroes that are bad people and there's villains that might not be bad people, right? And that just because someone gets labeled as one thing at one point in time does not mean that that's who they are, right? And when they go into that, I get the feeling it will get messy, it will get complicated, and I'm so excited for that because I feel like that's the next stage in the whole coming of age story, because one of the ideas of growing up is that you get to the point where you question things, right? You have your world that you've lived in that is very, very set and with clearly defined lines and everything, and then suddenly you start to question. And then you have to basically cast off the old and then decide if you want to pick the old back up or pick up something else. Right.
Yeah. And that's what would make someone like Deku the greatest hero. Someone that shows people what it's like to be a hero.
Yeah.
So what does this mean for season 4? Well, I think we went pretty far in terms of where the story could go in the future and stuff. But right now, we've got All Might no longer being the number one hero. He is quirkless.
Yep.
We have villains probably just popping up in the All Might's no longer around, so we feel a little bit more keen to run rampant. We have Overhaul coming into the state of things, and he sees like society's it's like sickness or something like that. That it's messed up or something like that. So he's probably gonna go on some kind of crusade against what he sees to be wrong in society. Shigaraki, he's more of a mystery box.
Yeah,
that's probably the thing I'm genuinely the most unable to predict. Like, I have no real solid predictions for Shigaraki. Yeah.
Other than maybe Deku saving him.
No, I'm talking about season 4.
Oh, for season 4. Yeah.
I'm talking about
well,
in the immediate future.
Well, that's the thing. They took away his mentor, right? So if this is Shigaraki on his hero's journey, right? He doesn't have his mentor figure anymore, so he has to figure things out himself, which he's had to get more accustomed to over the show as it's gone on. But now it's hard set. He doesn't have All for One there, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't given anything else other than that, right? Because all the foreshadowing, all the buildup is for like this Overhaul character and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Shigaraki, he could like this.
He might go on his Dagobah journey.
Yeah, like this almost feels like season 2 Zuko, but not going on his path to redemption just
not
yet.
as quick of that, I think. Yes. So if All Might isn't the number one hero, then Endeavor's the number one hero.
Right.
Which is hilarious because he's probably not at all happy about how this all ended up. If anything, All Might just went into legendary status because he sacrificed himself to save everyone.
Well, because now he's the discount #1
Yeah,
hero.
he's the discount All Might, basically.
You're the temp because we didn't have anyone else better, because there was this guy that was better, but he's not around anymore.
Yep.
And you never surpassed him. You were never close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In terms of where the main characters then go in season 4, in the immediate sense, like, I want to see them more actively taking, like, steps forward that change Hero Society in some way, shape, or manner. I feel like all this practical, like, training and stuff like that has to mean something. Right. Like, what did they get? They got, like,
from the Fortnite arc.
From the Fortnite arc.
I think they got a temporary hero license, or like a hero in training license or something like that.
Yeah, it's basically some kind of license that they got.
I feel it's like a driver's permit before you get your driver's license.
Provisional license. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So then they got their provisional license. They're basically like, okay, you can go out on the road.
Yeah. You
can go and do your thing. You probably still need supervision.
The things of, like, fighting Stain back in season 2, you don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to see them out and about doing things outside of school. Like you're saying, I don't think we're going to get any, like, they've gone rogue,
no. With... Yeah, that would be in some kind of extreme extenuating circumstance where, because since their boundaries are now, being pushed out of what they can do, right?
Yeah.
In order for them to actually go outside of that, it would have to be something even more extreme.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, they still have school and homework and...
Yep.
And
they're
all
unpaid
that jazz,
interns, legally.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's MHA Season 4. And I am letting my excitement build up again. But, yeah, it's been a while since MHA Season 3. Mm-hmm. And remember, we had another gap of time because we almost had MHA Season 4 when Mob Psycho released. But instead, or no, it would have been in May, but then they pushed it back, probably because Bones was animating MHA Season 2. And it's like, hey, I keep saying MHA Season 2? Mob Psycho Season 2. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. So that's that. Mm-hmm. But,
yep.
Yeah. Hold on, there's some follows I didn't mention here. MB Games, Lunar Wolf 12, RoboGhost, RoboGhost 03, thank you so much for the follows, and Zarm GS, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
But yeah.
And where there's school romance. Caleb, nope.
Well, the thing is, I actually hope so, because I feel like the biggest issue with MHA's romance that it's done. Mm-hmm. Is that it doesn't do it. And hear what I mean when I say this. It's not that characters don't have crushes for each other or whatever,
right?
But they don't actually take it seriously. They ignore it because, well, that's something that we can't do in this because it's a battle shonen or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whereas if they were to actually give the characters time to interact and things like that, like you would in a more romance centric show, which granted MHA isn't, but just having a little bit of that, then I can actually be rooting for it when it happens. Because right now, I don't care about the fact that Uraraka likes Deku. Mm-hmm. I don't. Like, I don't even want them to end up together because it would feel like a disservice to Uraraka. Mm-hmm. Right? Mineta doesn't count. Exactly.
Yeah, they need their journeys as characters individually to have, more weight before that happens there. It'd be kind of like rushing the Aang and Katara romance. It's cute and adorable, but there's not really much there outside of the wish fantasy.
Right, the stereotype of the main character gets the girl.
Yeah. And that doesn't cut it.
It's kind of like how everyone was pissed with how Bleach ended in the manga. Like, imagine if that happened to MHA.
I don't even compare anything good to Bleach anymore.
No, I know.
Yeah. Jad the Mad with the 400 bits. Can I just gush about Shonen Jump's major hitters? They're all so great and unique right now. Promise Neverland with its horror world building. MHA doing the battle tropes really good. Demon Slayer looks gorgeous. Dr. Stone with its scientific rather than physical achievements. And my personal favorite, though still just a manga, Chainsaw Man. It's one of the most gloriously insane yet weirdly romantic stories I've ever read. It's a good time to be a fan.
Chainsaw
wow.
Man.
Jad the Man, thanks for the bits. And
yeah, thank you.
What a weird sequence of shows. I've heard of Dr. Stone, but I am curious how they can make a scientific shonen. That seems a little bit odd. Because even Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was like, yeah, we have pseudoscience in here, magic science.
Yeah.
But not really science. Jack of all blades, thank you so much for the follow as well. Is it bad that I think Mineta getting a girlfriend would make him feel so awkward to ever try anything? It will be the ultimate arc. What?
Huh.
Oh yeah, there's so many good things right now. Okay, yeah. Chainsaw Man, yes. Okay.
The way you describe that Chainsaw Man reminds me of Cordova Zombie Disca.
Okay.
I think I've heard of that one.
Dr. Stone is actual science shonen, lol. But really, though? Is it really? Okay. Oh, that's a good point, Sailor Ghost. If you can make cooking into a battle shonen, why not science? Yeah, I forgot about Food Wars.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it, so it gets that kind of the, oh, right. I guess that would be a shonen, now that I think about it.
Yes, it's real science. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Huh.
Okay. So it's like educational. Almost.
I think the Dr. Stone author is a chemist. Interesting. Huh.
I actually now really want to see this.
But I've seen the main character's hair. Like, there's no way. There's just no way.
That's the gray hair and
with the reverse cone, you know, and it's like gray and blue cone? Or something like that.
I just remember a big piece of it like kind of sticking out and hanging. Huh. Okay.
It's not a realistic anime, but the science is. Okay, gotcha.
Good. Everyone wants you to see it too. Okay, Sakrodia. Okay. Well, we'll see. All right, so it is, but the main character of Dr. Stone knows way too much about science to make sense.
Gotcha.
So they're not worried about educating you. It's more like he's going to spout some babble, which is legitimately good science. Well, or at least it's try to explain all of it to you.
Or at least it's the way to have the main character still be the overpowered, you know, like sort of wish fulfillment fantasy, but it's using science.
Big brain.
But it's big brain.
Big brain.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not that his hair is that big. It's just that his head is ginormous.
Okay, so moving on. Haikyuu, though.
Haikyuu. I feel like there's not too much that needs to be said about Haikyuu. Because, I mean, it's Haikyuu. Like Haikyuu could just... I feel like Haikyuu is almost like an improv show with just the best characters. Like, and so it's just like, you could see them do anything, right?
And you'd enjoy it.
Like, now that we got the Suki, you know, like, development that came full circle in the Shiro Torizawa match, I can't really think of anything that I'm especially like, oh, they're definitely going to do this. Like, there's the whole thing of Kageyama getting the special, like, training and whatnot, which I'm excited for. Right. You know, and there's the third years and everything that they're going to nationals and just all of them, you know, the fact that they're going to nationals and Nekama and all that stuff. And Boikawa will probably make many snarky comments from the sidelines and whatnot, but I don't have anything specific that I'm wanting to see happen. I just want to see these boys again.
Yeah. Siberia, well, when we say best characters, we're talking about enjoyment, not necessarily well written. Hot take, but it's actually like pretty easy to think. Don't go to shonen if you want the best written characters. Like, there's some really well written characters in there, but in terms of the best, like the best written characters are generally in the more
check the dramas.
Check the dramas. Check the ones that are more like a single character focus kind of thing. Yeah.
If you haven't seen March Comes in Like a Lion, I highly recommend
it. The best written characters are found in history, lol. That's a good one. So, okay. With Haikyuu Season 4, I have been thinking about it for quite a while. And I have a particular set of things that I'm very excited about and very nervous about. It's the pacing. So there's a couple things that they could do. This is the same theories we had back in Season 1 and Season 2 and all that. was the worry about what happens when the school year ends.
Yeah,
now that they're going to nationals. It's not just another tournament arc.
Nope, it's not. And granted, because they beat Shiro Torizawa, they could probably go pretty far at nationals.
But the thing is that when these characters then showcase their skills at that high of a level, there are people out there whose job entirely is to scout new talent.
Oh.
And this is something that only happens at that transition period between high school and college.
Yeah.
But the thing is they look as early as possible. They're not just looking for seniors graduating.
They're looking to groom.
They're looking to groom the best. And who was getting groomed or getting the opportunity to be groomed at the end of season 3? Kageyama, the actual god of Haikyuu.
Right.
The one with stupid powers of volleyball. Is Haikyuu going to go that far? Who cares?
Who knows?
Just think about the character interactions and drama when you think about Kageyama accelerating past Hinata because he's being given opportunities that Hinata just doesn't have. And then Hinata's like trying to pull on him, being like, "Come on, give me
and jumping
give
and
me
like,
some of that training and stuff. I'll toss it with you. I'll do all this stuff." And Kageyama's like, "Okay, yeah." But then Hinata can think about like, well, wait, like he's still moving past me. Like
Kageyama, this damned reticle ball stopping.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Then we have all these other teams that have their own stories and journeys and stuff. And all they'd have to do, I totally think they're going to do this because Nekoma is the one team with all the, I would say, kind of the character build-up stuff that hasn't gotten a real match with Karasuno yet. You know, like a full-on match. Imagine Karasuno and Nekoma actually like, you know, having a real match, or even then, not even that they'd have a real match, but that Karasuno and Nekoma would go back to practice matches with each other because Karasuno needs a nationals level team in order to hone their skills.
Sure.
And we get into, you know, their whole relationship dynamics with the, you know, the players and stuff like that again.
Well, and like, I mean, we could get a match with Bokuto's team. I forget for the life of me like what the team name is. Fukurodani, that's right.
I have a little bit of an unfair advantage in that I talk with a lot of Haikyuu people. Haikyuu is like my
it's your drug.
My drug, yes.
Yeah.
So I remember a lot of the names and stuff.
Yeah, but we have some teams that we can see matches with that we have already been introduced to, and we have others where we're gonna get introduced to a lot of teams, right?
Yeah.
And oh, man, oh boy, that's gonna be interesting.
Yep. And then we have all these characters who are coming up on the end of their journey in high school. Yep. Daichi, Suga, Asahi, and even
Kyoko. The
good
Kyoko.
The good Kyoko.
The good Kyoko, not the Sangatsu Kyoko.
The goddess Kyoko.
Right.
Yes.
The one that we get excited to see. I mean, I get excited in a different way.
She doesn't really get excited for anything other than a small Ganbatte.
Yep.
And then, like, freaking, like...
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Freaking, like, all those players just cream their pants just with excitement.
But
like
especially Nishinoya and Tanaka.
Yeah, just like... Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Battle of the Garbage Dump returns again. That would be so awesome.
That would be wonderful. Wouldn't that suck, though, if, like, Nekoma didn't make it to Nationals? I mean, I think they're going to.
I think... But... I don't remember for sure, but I think there's a possibility that they actually didn't because... Trying to remember if there was any kind of talk about...
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm really excited.
But
for
like,
that.
just
and
imagine
also,
seeing Nishinoya and Tanaka again.
Yeah.
Like,
also, this is just the plot. If they just decide to develop another character, even on some level.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Okay, so season 3 closed out on showing the Tokyo qualifiers, but it didn't resolve if Nekoma was going to make it. Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, because Nekoma is in another city, so they don't have to deal with Karasuno closing them out by winning against Shiratorizawa.
Yeah.
The team that had to deal with that was Tateko and wow, I actually forgot a name of something in Haikyuu.
Wow.
What was the name of Oikawa's team?
Abujasai. Yeah.
Wow.
I was panicking for a minute there.
Fail. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I should watch Haikyuu then. Amju, yes, you should watch Haikyuu. If you want to have wholesome boys playing with their balls and
slapping them around while real sweaty, yeah.
And
the thing is, okay, so someone mentioned earlier, like the characters not being that well written, and the thing is that sure, a lot of them play to shticks. But the thing is, they do it really well, and the show is so overwhelmingly positive.
And it's also all about the interactions between said characters, rather than just kind of having them regurgitate their lines.
Right.
This is something that I would say is the difference between a character who has a shtick, an obvious shtick, without much, depth to them, is when literally their thing that they say is to ping the ball back to the main character or characters. They don't actually say anything of substance as to who they are.
They play off each other very, very well. And that's probably why I said it feels like an improv show.
Yeah, in Haikyuu, basically, the dialogue doesn't repeat in that regard. Mm-hmm. It's something where you can sort of guess, based on when this character has their turn to speak and what other people are saying, they're being led in this direction by the overall improvisation of the dialogue to say this kind of thing. And then they say essentially that with their own unique flair to it. You go, oh, right, they're a person. They're not going to be saying as expected of so-and-so.
Because the sport is volleyball, I feel like that really helps a lot because it's all based around them being able to get along, right?
Yeah.
Because if they don't get along well as a team, they won't get along well on the court, right?
Yep.
So the way that they handle those character interactions are quite fantastic.
Yeah, it feels like the passing of a volleyball.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have someone who basically receives the impetus.
Then someone else who sets
they pop it up. Then you have the other person who sets it up for like a joke. It's almost like a joke punchline, basically. You have the person who establishes the shot, lifts it up into the air. Everyone looks. Then it comes down to someone else who sets it up for that prima perfect delivery, and then someone comes in and bam, just absolutely demolishes the punchline.
And it is just so great. Like
that's the thing that's repeated, if anything, is just how often that happens within the duos of Haikyuu. Haikyuu works in pairs. They come pre-packaged for shipping.
It's true.
But even really more so, they switch up the dynamics of these pairs. And then every once in a while, when they need to reestablish the characters, they fall back on the pairs that you're familiar with. Nishinoi and Tanaka. Suga and Daichi.
Right.
Hinata
Kageyama
and Kageyama.
Yamaguchi
and Suki. Stuff like that.
The only thing that is missing in Haikyuu is a shower scene, like in Ippo. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh my god. Are you guys interested to see Kimetsu no Yaiba? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Are you guys prepared for the post-Zangatsu void? Well, yes.
Rakugo won the poll.
No. Yeah, because Rakugo won the poll. It finally won. So that's a big deal, right?
So Rakugo, y'all.
So I feel like that will be the perfect replacement. But yes, I will be sad, and I will be waiting for season 3.
They're too obsessed with their meat in Haikyuu. Wow. Oh, hold
meat
on.
Is gone.
Long TLDR thing that just got deleted.
Okay.
Oh, Shy Monkeys,
right.
Thank you. I was literally about to read that message. Shy, can you tell me what you were deleting it for? Because it looked like a long message. It might have been a copy pasta. I couldn't
Rakugo
tell.
is better than Sangatsu in my opinion. Wow.
Yeah, Rakugo hype, y'all. Get some PogChamps in chat and some some hype in there because this show has been built up to us for such a long time.
Oh, first episode is an hour long, if I remember.
Highly review it.
Good to know.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh.
Only took 9 showings. Yep, 9 polls exactly.
Yeah. But eventually,
just the guy raving One Piece on alt after getting banned for spoiling. Oh,
gotcha.
Yikes. Okay, gotcha. Rakugo and Thrigatsu are on the same level for me. Yeah.
Well, those two are considered the best drama in the past decade.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped, y'all. Yes, I know about the Mob Psycho OVA. Yeah. Rakugo's openings are awesome. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, we've actually kind of ended the main section of the podcast right now.
Yeah.
We can kind of go back and repeat kind of the thesis of the whole thing, in that anime is something that can take us on a journey.
Right.
And during that journey, we're going to change with the show, the story changing.
And I feel like that's something that we were a lot more used to with like Western television, because it would be a lot more common for it to go longer, right?
Right.
You know, so like Leverage was one of my favorite shows back in the day, but you know, by the time I got to like the 5th season, I wasn't as much into it. Heroes is another infamous example where when it finally ended, we were like, thank God.
Yeah,
right.
That was a train wreck.
But then, you know, in more recent memory, we have things like Game of Thrones, right? Which is special
the Game of Thrones journey.
But you know,
went on a more like maybe positive note that a lot of people still had that kind of negative end to it is something like Lost. You know, something like Lost, where I would say the majority of Lost people might look back on and be like, it was overrated, but it's like, it was good television. It was great television, and it had its very obvious flaws and what have you. But people change over the course of time, and it is hard. It is difficult. In fact, it's unlikely that you retain the same level of passion, zeal, hype, and all that for a show that you had at the highest point when the show continues on and on and on.
I will say, though, one show where it's been, for me personally, moving in a positive direction, because I feel like there's plenty of examples with this kind of a thing where it moves in the negative direction, right? You start liking a show less as it goes on, whether it's because it just goes on too long, or you know, you come back to it later and you're like, yeah, this wasn't actually that great, you know, or your taste just changed or whatever. But in the case of Monogatari, I feel like now that we've essentially gotten into the second act equivalent with Neko Shiro, and that I feel like we finally experienced Monogatari. Like I almost feel like everything before this almost doesn't count. It does, you know, like it totally does.
Your words better on that one. I know what you mean, but
the
idea,
say it better, the idea that basically there was so much that was basically building up and setting up for all this awesome stuff that we're now getting to experience, right? Yeah. And while we knew that they were building up to things happening previously, we didn't exactly know what. We didn't know how good it was going to be. Yeah. Or at least there were certainly points where I didn't. And not that there weren't amazing episodes along the way and everything, right? But I feel like now almost like it's an entirely new show because of just the perspective, I guess, of all the build-up that has happened and now they're starting to execute on.
Yeah. And that's really special.
Yeah.
And now we get to experience that potentially all over again with 3 more shows that we've watched for years now. Haikyuu the least, but in some ways Haikyuu the one we're most hyped for. And MHA and RWBY, while not as hyped as we are for those as we are for Haikyuu, MHA and RWBY each having something that has us looking towards the future with like the, oh my god, if they bring it back to kind of the hype we had in the past, especially in some ways with MHA, because I feel like with MHA season 4, I'm really hyped about it. I'm really hyped for specific things about the world of MHA for me to get more invested in than I was before. Because I think I was more just invested in the idea of Deku and All Might's dynamic and how they influence the themes of the story, and then their story kind of changing how other people view what heroes are and how powerful that can be just in general. But if the show opens up in a really big way, season 4 is going to be really good. And then RWBY also, even though there's not as much hype, just the thing that this this collaborative work behind some of my favorite people out there just keeps going.
Yep.
And actually gets better as it keeps going. Like, Volume 5 had some real big problems in it, for sure. Volume 4 had some pacing issues, for sure.
Yeah.
But
it's something that's taken on a life of its own, and even if I don't like, even if, say, Volume 2 is my favorite season, right?
Sure.
Even if none of the volumes that come from now on, right, top Volume 2 in my mind, I'm okay with that, right? Because just seeing what kind of life it ends up taking on, that's a journey in and of itself,
for sure. So y'all, that was sequels, and we're talking about some pretty hype shows. So a lot of you joined in for this podcast, but thank you so much for joining us here. This is a lot of fun. Like, I can't wait to get back into MHA and Haikyuu and RWBY with you guys and get into the discussions and have this being the whole topic of hype on the Discord as well. So if you're a Twitch sub, make sure to sync your accounts so that you get access to the private Discord. If you have a Twitch Prime just hanging around and you don't know where to send it, hey, consider giving us some of Bezos's money. And hope to see you there for all that discussion as it comes out. MHA is in how many days? Oh, y'all chat? Like 11 days?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that?
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So hope to see you all in the next one. Less than 2 weeks. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my god. So soon, Jacob.
That is insane.
And then all of our streams are 3 p.m. Pacific time, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Jacob, are you doing something different for Thursday's stream, or are you still doing Slay the Spire?
Still doing Slay the Spire, but there is something in the works. I'm waiting on a particular manga volume to arrive.
Oh.
At which point I will do a manga reading for a particular manga that I'd wanted to start for a while.
Nice.
But there isn't that much of it, so I'm waiting for the third volume in particular to show up on the door. And
then I'm still continuing Tales of Berseria on Fridays. So we got Jacob Gaming on Thursday, Caleb Gaming on Friday, and then of course the podcast again on Monday. And did I mention One Piece? Of course, One Piece manga reactions on a Tuesday, where we do all kinds of crazy voices that shred our vocal cords and give you such gems, like his Arnold Patty. What are you doing? Get down!
See us, sucker. That will be 10,000 berries.
The customer is always right.
Yes. Give us a hint. Well, I already gave you a hint. 3 volumes, of U.S. release, and the third volume is coming out soon. And no, it's not a 6-digit series.
No, God, no. So hope to see you all in the next one. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time. Oh, also...
Oh, shoot. Jad the Mad with the 100 bits. I can't believe we didn't talk about the most hyped sequel of the season. The new Terminator! Wow.
Is that happening?
Oh, my God.
But also, Battle Lines, my sci-fi novel. It's available for purchase on Amazon. The link is in the description of all our most recent videos.
Yeah, and it won't have any problems with sequels because there won't be any sequels.
Exactly, because Battle Lines is a standalone novel. Because
with I had a ending.
I had a very particular ending in mind that I